Hello, everybody, and welcome to the presentation. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to today's presentation, From Knowing to Doing, Bridging the Gap to Better Health Outcomes, to Better Health Goals, right? I'm thrilled to have you here, and we're going to get started. I'm going to share with you my slides and then we'll get started. Let's see. And see, hopefully you'll be able to see my slides. There's a little delay on my part here, seeing the changes. Yeah. Okay, great. So welcome. And here we go. All right. So welcome. Again, my name is Alexandra Santamaria. I am the founder of RX Health and Wellness. And we're here to talk about going from knowing what to do to actually doing, which is the hardest part. So bridging that gap from having the information to putting it to work. A lot of us know what we need to do for our health goals, but yet we don't do it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. I'm thrilled to have you here. And I want to share a little bit about why I'm so passionate about this topic. Like many of you, I knew what I should be doing to improve my health. And I actually had a diagnosis of prediabetes in my 40s, as soon as I turned 40. And I am in the health field, so I knew a lot about diabetes and I knew what to do. And I did it for many years. I was able to stay in the pre-diabetic range for over 15 years. But yet, like many of you, I knew what to do. I know I should be doing certain things to improve my health, but translating that knowledge into action felt sometimes overwhelming. And that's what happens at the beginning of the pandemic. I became very overwhelmed with everything that was happening, including the fact that my mother was dying, and she did die. And I just couldn't get myself to take action on my health, even though I was getting worse and worse and worse. Through my journey, I discover effective strategies that transform my life and health, and I've since helped countless others do the same through a one-on-one coaching. And now we're transitioning into a group coaching or a membership health coaching that I will talk a little bit about at the end. Today, my goal is to guide you through the transformation process. It's a hard process because when it comes to change, nobody wants to change. We like things to be the same, and we have a hard time changing. We have a hard changing ourselves. So by the end of today, the end of the presentation, we'll have practical tools to take your first or your next steps toward better health. So let's dive in. All right. If you are joining us again, just say hi. I would love to say hi to you today. But let's keep going. So let's start by talking about why we're here. How many of you have ever felt stuck? You know exactly the changes that you need to make, but you struggle to actually do them. You may even go as far as setting goals and start taking action, but a week or two later, you're kind of done, right? Anyone here? Has anyone ever had that happen to them? If you feel like it, please put it in the comment. I would love to know that I'm not the only one. And it is very common, right? So this is, in my opinion, a very common experience. Many of us know what to do, but we just don't know how to begin or how to take our first step, our first action, or we start doing, but we are not consistent, right? And for any new habits to stick, we need them to be consistent. So we know that this is what we need to do. So why don't we do it? Why? Why? It's very frustrating. I get very frustrated with myself. So it can feel like standing at the edge of a canyon, looking at the other side where you need to go in order to get better, but not knowing how to cross that big white space, that big white hole in the middle, right? Looking at the other side, not knowing how to get there. That's what we're here to address today. My journey started much like this. When I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I felt overwhelmed, frustrated, and even though I thought I was doing all the right things, I really wasn't. I tried to do the right things, but I failed miserably, right? I would start my day strong. By the middle of the day, I was already caving into cravings and having all the wrong foods. And I can understand why I couldn't get my act together, right? That frustration led me to explore a more holistic approach, one where I combine functional medicine principles with conventional medicine strategies. And over time, I did reverse my diabetes. Well, I put it into remission. We'll talk about why we don't actually reverse it, but I put it into remission and I reclaim my health. This transformation is possible for you too. If it was possible for me, it's possible for anyone. Okay, let's talk a little bit about why knowing all the stuff that we should be doing is not enough, right? We live in an age of information overload. Every which way, all the social channels and uh, every place you look, including TV and radio, will give you tons of information and things that will work for you. You can Google anything and find thousands of tips and strategies. But here's the thing, too much information can be paralyzing because you have so much information, you don't know where to start. You don't know which ones to pick. You don't know which ones are going to work for you. And you just get frustrated, right? Where do you start? What information is reliable? Are they good sources? And even the information that you get from your doctor sometimes feels very vague and not concrete enough, right? I deal with patients with diabetes, type 1, type 2, all kinds of diabetes, gestational diabetes. And one question I always get is just tell me what to do. Tell me what to eat, right? The problem is that even when I tell patients what they need to eat, like I give them specific, I could help them construct a meal plan for the week, they're not going to follow it through. Why? Because in their mindset, they feel like they're lacking something. Something's being denied to them. They feel like things are being taken away and can't see long-term rewards for short-term ones. So not only do we have so much information, but then there is the fear of failure. Sometimes we just don't want to know. We just don't want to know. It's kind of like an ostrich, putting your head under the dirt. You just don't want to hear about it. You don't want to know about it. You don't want to know what the complications are. You just don't want to deal with it, right? How many of you have thought, what if I try it and it doesn't work? Or even worse, you tried it, but you didn't commit 100%, and then it didn't work, and you're like, see, it didn't work for me. I'm completely different. I've been there. I know it. This is fear. This is fear that can stop us before we even begin, or while we're going through it, or while we are trying to do it. The problem is that even before we start, we know we're going to fail. So what's going to happen? We are going to fail. And finally, there's those of us who have that mentality of perfectionism. The idea that it has to be perfect or otherwise it's not worth doing. So if I can't be perfect on all of my meals, all of my snacks, plus do 150 minutes of exercise every week, plus work on my stress, plus take all my medication, plus have a good night's sleep, plus do everything else I need to do in my life, then it's not worth doing, right? So we drive ourselves to think that it has to be perfect in order to work. The idea that if we can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. These are obstacles that we create for ourselves. This is what I call our knowledge action gap. So while we know we have to do these things, but we have that mentality, I'll do it when I have enough time. I'll do it when I can join a gym. I'll do it when I can buy more vegetables. I'll do it when I have some time off. It's always later. It's never now, right? Has anybody gone through that? I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know. Say hi in the comments. Let me know if this sounds familiar to you, right? But here's the good news. The gap isn't as wide as we think it is, or as wide as it seems, right? The gap is actually smaller, right? The gap is an illusion. By addressing these barriers one step at a time, you can move forward. You can accomplish the things that you want to do. Now, it's not an easy thing to do, but we have to not only work on our mindset, we have to work on small, achievable goals, SMART goals that will lead us to a large change. So Right now, take a moment to reflect on this. What's been your biggest obstacle? Is it information overload? Is it fear of failure? Is it perfectionism? Is it I don't have time? I don't like tons of excuses? Write them down and share it in the chat if you feel comfortable. But I would love to hear, and it would be nice for others to see that they're not alone, that I'm not alone in this, right? This is something very common. I hear it from my patients all the time. I'll start exercising when I join the gym. I can't do it right now. I'm very busy at work. When I have more time, I'll do it. I'll do it over my vacation. Right? I would love to hear from you guys. So chime in. So, how do we bridge this gap? Before we dive into solutions, let us talk about something powerful that often holds us back from taking action. The way we weigh the cost of action versus the benefit. Tony Robbins talks about this concept all the time. It's a truth that can either trap us or set us free. We will not take action if the perceived cost of that action feels bigger, greater than the perceived benefit, right? If we think that getting healthy is going to cost us what little happiness or joy we have in our lives, we're not going to give it up to become healthier when we don't even see the consequences of not being healthy right away, right? Many people go years and years before they get all the complications from diabetes. So let me give you an example. Imagine you've been told that you have to follow a strict meal, exercise every day, and stop eating all the foods that you love, right? That's basically what we tell our patients. That's basically what my doctor told me. You might think this is going to be hard. From the onset, you're focusing on all the negative parts of becoming healthy and none of the positive things. The cost to you is graded at this moment than the benefits that you're going to get in the long term, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years, 10 years, right? You might think, I'll miss out on enjoying meals with friends and family. I don't have time to work out every day. How am I going to do that? I'm already doing so much. I'm so busy. I just don't have the time. The cost, whether it's time, effort, comfort, feels overwhelming to you. Even if the long-term benefits are better because you'll be healthier and not sick and not have complications from diabetes. But right now, you can't see it. You're seeing the short term and forgetting about the long term. I hope that's making sense. Right? But here's the thing. These costs are often inflated in our minds. We have to work on our mindset. While the benefits are undervalue and the things that you're giving up are overvalue. We get stuck thinking about short-term discomfort instead of focusing on life-changing results that come from making small, consistent changes, right? Now, let me see if this sounds true to you. Many of us will say, when we get that diagnosis, we'll say, why me? Why? Why me? I don't understand. I think that's so unfair. Why me? You know, everybody in my family has diabetes, but so and so in my family, they do whatever they want and they eat whatever they want and they don't have diabetes. So why me? Right? Instead of saying or looking at the diagnosis as, oh, okay, this is a wake up. This is a chance for me to get healthy, that I can live the rest of my life healthier and avoid complications. This is your wake up alarm. This is your second chance. Take it. Get healthy. Get strong. Have the energy you need. Live the life you want. But we don't look at it that way, do we? No. This shift in mindset is critical. What if I told you that changes don't have to be drastic to work? You don't have to make a 180-degree turn. You don't have to take your whole life and put it upside down in order to achieve a better health, better outcome, right? That's not real. People who make all these changes all at once, they can't maintain them. It's unrealistic. You can still enjoy the meals with your family, still eat foods you love. You just do it in a healthier way. You may even influence some of those people in your family to start eating better and avoiding the same path that brought you here, right? That includes your kids, and your, not just your immediate family, but all of your family and friends, right? So instead of spending hours in the gym, what if you only had to start by taking a 10-minute walk after dinner? What if that 10-minute walk, and if you do it constantly, if you do it every day for a while, and now becomes part of your routine, leads you to make other small changes that will also, after a while, become part of your habits, replacing all those negative habits that you had, and slowly start changing your life, changing your health to be better, to controlling your blood sugars, to having more energy, to feeling more full of vitality, right? The key is to tip the scales. The benefits of taking the action feel bigger than the cost to you. When you see how small steps add up to a massive change, a massive result, the cost feels more manageable and you're more motivated to take that first step when you see that it doesn't have to be a horrible thing, right? And once you start seeing progress, because hey, you may even enjoy that 10-minute walk, and you start seeing progress and you start seeing that you're able to keep going, that success even though it's small, it's going to keep you motivated to continue to do other small changes that will, in the long run, add up to one large change. Let's look at 3 keys to success: clarity, small wins, and support. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the tools that make action feel doable and worth it. Let me share some real life examples of how these principles work. First, I'm going to go over my own journey. I went from having really high blood sugars and using insulin 4 times a day, once before each meal, and then another one once a day. And this comes from someone who is again, in the health field, and I teach patients how to start insulin, how to eat better, all the things that you need to do to control and manage your diabetes. I couldn't get out of my own head. I got so deep into it during the start of the pandemic. My mother died. I was depressed. All I saw in my future was death. I really could not get out of it. One day I was talking to my daughter and I said, I cannot continue this way. I will definitely end up dying. And even though I thought I was doing the right things, you know how it is. You say, I do this halfway, but I tell everybody I'm doing everything I need to do. But beyond that, I started to look into functional medicine principles and how to use medicine, how to use food as medicine, and how things affect our bodies. I started to work on my mindset. I really started to make mindset shifts and started working on consistent habits. They were small at first, but I was able to start seeing a small light at the end of the tunnel. I decided to go all in and do what is called an elimination diet in functional medicine. It's usually a 6-week diet, and it helps you sort of reset your body, get rid of any foods that are making you sensitive to them, causing kind of like a type of reaction. It resets your gut microbiome and it allows your body to eat these foods that are going to fight chronic inflammation. And in doing so, it resets your insulin resistance. So I did the diet with my girls, with my 2 daughters, and we ended up doing it for 8 weeks. At the end of the 8 weeks, I was off insulin. I was off most of my medications except for metformin, which my doctor refused to take me off because she thought this was a transient thing and I was going to come back to where I was before, that this was something that wasn't going to stick. And one medication for ventricular tachycardia that sort of came on with the high sugars. But after 6 months, I went back and I was still under good control. My A1C went from, I think, in the high 7 to 8s. I can't remember exactly. And that's with insulin and oral medication. It went down to 5.2. After 6 months, my doctor said, I'm going to reduce your dose of metformin, but I still want you to take it because I want to make sure these changes are going to be sticking around for a long time. She did not believe that I could maintain it. So she reduced my dose to just one pill of metformin per day. And 6 months later, I went back. My A1C was still 5.0, and that's when she took me off. I have been able to keep my blood sugars under 5.6 for the past almost 4 years. And even in the past month in December, when I really sort of let everything go and kind of overdid everything, even then my A1C did not rise above 5.6. Now I'm back on track. I'm looking forward to my next A1C, and I'm hoping it goes back down to at least 5.2. So when I say remission, it's really hard to achieve remission because as soon as you start having high blood sugars, it starts changing your body. You can go back to, you can go back and put it under remission, but you can't reverse it. Okay? And the longer you keep your blood sugars high, the longer you've had that diabetes diagnosis, and the longer you go with that diabetes not being controlled, the harder it is for you to put it under remission, right? I don't believe there's reversal, but there is remission. It is hard to do, but it's something that you can accomplish. It will take a little work from you at the beginning, but it becomes easier with time. I was happy with all my changes. I wanted to go back to my regular job and tell everybody what to do. Of course, my boss said, you can't. We don't use functional medicine here. We use traditional medicine. So you're going to continue to teach patients traditional medicine. I was feeling very frustrated, and I said, okay, I am just going to go ahead and coach patients outside my regular job. And that's what I did. I started coaching outside my job. I was doing one-to-one coaching. And I want to tell you about one of my patients, my recent patients. My patient's name is Sarah, and she gave me permission to share with you. I think Sarah, if I remember correctly, she's 52 years old. She started coming to me when she was 50. She started my program with an A1C of 8.9, which is not really bad, but it's also not good. She felt defeated, and that's because she had been diagnosed for about 3 years, and her doctor was telling her it was time for her to start insulin because her A1C was probably going to go over 9 soon, and he didn't want it to keep going any higher. She did not want to start insulin. Does that sound like some of you? Maybe. But she was very skeptical, but she decided to give it a try. She did not want to do the elimination diet. It's a very strict and harsh diet, very hard to follow, especially if you have a lot of cravings and you haven't really been eating healthy for a long time. So we modified it. We made it so that she could manage through some of the changes, but it wasn't as harsh or restricted as the usual elimination diet. We use these tools in our program to have her track her blood sugars. We got her to ask her doctor for a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor. And we started to teach her how to read it and how to see how the different foods affected her. And we started with small steps, things that she could incorporate without making a huge change in um, her daily habits, right? She's a mom. She's a professional. She works probably 10 hours a day. And she was just feeling very overwhelmed. But by focusing on the small steps, small changes, manageable to her, we started where she was at. She was not exercising, she was not eating right, she was overweight, she was having a lot of aches and pains, she was using a um, hormones for her menopause because she was having a lot of symptoms. And we started to focus on the things that she could manage to change. After a good 6 months, her A1C went down to 6.2. She had lost about 10 pounds. She still had more weight to lose, but she was now able to do more healthy stuff that she had ever done before. And she was looking to continue to do them. She stuck around for another 6 months. Her A1C only moved down maybe like a point or two, like down to 6, but she lost another 10 pounds. And she now had new habits that were part of her daily ritual. She was happier. She was off most of her medication, including the hormone therapy. And she was feeling more like herself again. She had energy and she was having a better outlook overall. Now I keep in touch with her, and she knows that if she needs support or help, she can come back to see me. But there was nothing other than that I could offer. At the end of this, I'm going to talk a little bit about maybe how I can help you. If you're like her, you need a little bit more of hand holding, even after you've been able to get things under better control. But these transformations are not unique. They're achievable for anyone willing to take the first steps. One thing I did want to tell you is most of my services are geared for women over 40 because women undergo a great big change in their lives after 40. They start going through perimenopause and menopause, and the changes in hormone augment everything, augment any chronic disease you have, including diabetes, and makes it worse. And sometimes you don't know if your symptoms are from the menopause or the symptoms are from your diabetes. It just makes things more complicated. You need to get your health under really good control before you start going through perimenopause and menopause will make it so much easier. When you have uncontrolled sugars, it will make your perimenopause or menopause that much harder with more symptoms. Okay. So start by asking yourself, what is one thing I can do today that feels manageable, right? This is where we're going to start making an action plan. I want to help you start helping yourself in changing your balance toward a more healthy side, right? Think of health and illness just a continuum, right? One side is more health, one side is more illness. Right now, you're in the side of more illness. We want to start moving you toward more health. And that's what we do here. We want you to start asking yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that feels manageable? Not 10 things, not everything, just one. For example, if you're worried about your meal planning, don't try to overhaul every meal, or don't try to start a meal planning if you're not doing one right now. Maybe start by making over a couple of your most used recipes, even just one. So if you have a recipe you make all the time and you enjoy it, try to start thinking about ways that you can remake it to make it healthier. Start with one meal, like breakfast, for example. Swap out sugary cereals for eggs and veggies. We want to do away with anything sweet, including cereal. Cereal's not good for you guys. No more cereal. Next, ask yourself, what benefit will I get from this small action? And make sure you really understand the benefits you're going to get. Actually visualize the result in your mind. Close your eyes and in your mind, see yourself doing the action and then getting the reward from the action, right? If you have a more savory breakfast without all the sugar, that means most of your morning is going to be under better control for your sugars. It sets the rest of your day up, right? If you start with good sugars, you'll continue with good sugars most of the time. Focus on the positive outcomes. Maybe it's feeling more energized throughout the day or seeing your blood sugars more stable. But focus on that positive thought and see it when you visualize yourself doing the goal. Finally, think about the cost of not taking action. And this is a good exercise that you can do to start changing your mindset from focusing on all the negatives that come with eating healthy and getting healthy, doing the exercise and everything else, to all the benefits that come from that, right? What is the cost of not taking action? I want you to sit back, close your eyes. What will happen if you stay here? Stay where you are. What you've been doing brought you here. Do you think doing the same things that brought you here are going to get you out of having diabetes? This is not about fear. This is about being honest with yourself. This is thinking ahead. If nothing changes, how will that impact your health? Maybe start thinking about 6 months from now. If your sugars are not bad, I don't think you're going to see a big difference. If your doctor's starting to tell you your sugars are too high, you're going to need insulin, maybe you'll start insulin. What will happen in a year? Where will you be if nothing changes? How will this impact you, your family, your quality of life? Will you start losing your eyesight? Will you have problems with your kidneys? Will you have diabetic neuropathy? Will you have an infection and have to have an amputation? What about 3 years down the road? What about 5? Would you even be able to work any longer? Will you be in constant pain? Unable to do physical stuff? Will you be in a nursing home 10 years from now? What does that mean for your family, having to take care of you? Your quality of life, what would that look like? Really get into it and feel what you would feel if someone in your family has to take care of you. If you're not able to shower, you're not able to eat by yourself, you're not able to even cook or clean, what would that mean for you? But really feel it. Will you feel embarrassed that somebody has to help you take a shower? Will you feel helpless because somebody has to help you eat? What about having to go to dialysis 3 times a week? What about losing a limb? Really get into it and feel what it would be like if you don't take action. What does that mean for you? I know this is really horrible, but come back now to the present and feel empowered that you can now take control of your health now and make the changes needed to avoid that future. When the benefit of taking action becomes bigger than the cost of staying the same, you create momentum. And that momentum is what we'll build on. This is where you can take action. So whenever you're starting to steer away from your health goals and from doing the right things for your health, go back and do this visualization of what will it cost you in the future. Okay, take a moment now and write down one small action you can take today or tomorrow morning. It could be as simple as drinking a glass of water before your next meal or right at the beginning of the day as you wake up. Then write down the benefit that you'll get from that action and share it with us in the chat if you feel like, or keep it as a personal note to reflect on later. But I would love to hear from you guys. If you're listening to us live, please let us know what would be one action you would take today or tomorrow morning, because it's late now. All right. Now that you have an action plan, let me tell you about an idea I had a few months back. I'm calling this the Diabetes Type 2 Solution Membership. When I was going through the changes that I needed to make, I was feeling very alone. I was feeling like no one really understood what I was going through. My family was nice and they were helpful. And like I said, even my daughters did the elimination diet with me, but they could not really understand what I was going through because they don't have diabetes. They also couldn't understand what I was going through because I was going through menopause. And this was making everything worse for me. I was having aches and pains. Everything I ate, it did a number on my stomach. I was feeling bloated. I was feeling fat. I was feeling yuck all the time. And I always wanted to have a support group that would be able to tell me if what I was feeling was the same for them or they had gone through the same and how they handled it. This is what my idea was. I want to have a place where women over 40 with type 2 diabetes come to get together to form a community of like-minded women that are going through the same journey to get healthy. This program was designed with you in mind. I want to help you go through and have more support than I did. I want you to have personalized guidance to help you navigate your journey. This is not about information. Like I said, you have enough information out there. It's about implementation. It's about how to take small steps to start on that health journey. It's about having a supportive community where you can share your wins and your challenges. It's a community where you can find friends, buddies that can help you overcome challenges and help you celebrate your little wins. Tools and resources that simplify the process, like a meal plan, trackers, and educational workshops. Similar to this one. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about creating lasting changes. Like I said, this is an idea, and this is the start of this idea. So if you join the community, you'll be a founding member. What does that mean? Well, it means you'll enjoy several exclusive benefits for life. You'll have a lifetime discount rate. You'll never pay full price. You'll have, if you choose to get your payment as an annual payment rather than a monthly payment, you get 2 months for free. And for attending today, we're offering you a discount of 30% off. Founding members are the foundation of our community, and your feedback will help me shape the program's future. Like I said, I do one-to-one coaching. Group coaching, I've done small groups, but I want to open this up so I can help more women. I want you to help me shape the community. I want you to give me feedback that you can get all the resources you need to make you successful. Because if you're successful, then I'm successful, right? My success depends on you achieving remission, getting better health, having more energy, more vitality, having a good future life. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of being part of something big from the ground up. I want to revisit the idea of cost versus benefit as we wrap up. Too often we think about what we'll lose if we make changes, time, effort, convenience. But let's flip the script. Ask yourself, what will you gain if you take action today? Imagine yourself feeling lighter, more energetic, and more confident. Imagine waking up without worrying about your blood sugar levels, without body aches and pains, without all the stuff that comes not just with your diabetes, but with your hormone changes from perimenopause and menopause. Think about the freedom to enjoy life on your terms. Now, let's talk about the cost of staying where you are. It might be the stress of managing more medications, the fear of complications, or the frustration of feeling stuck. Those are real costs, but they're not inevitable. They can be avoided. I can't say that word, inevitable. With the Diabetes Type 2 Solution membership, we want to help you tip the scales in your favor. It's not about sacrifice, it's about empowerment. We focus on small changes, actionable steps that fit into your life. We show you how to reduce the perceived cost of change by giving you tools, support, and clear path forward. A path that's going to take you from where you are to being healthier. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes work, it takes time, but it starts with one decision, one small action. What if today is the day you choose to take that first step? The benefits waiting for you are life-changing. Now, this is the time to take action. Whether you join my program or not, take action for yourself. The cost of not taking action today is big. The cost will come in time. You won't see it tomorrow. You won't see it in 6 months. You may not even see it in a year. But 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. In 10 years, would you even be alive? Now, if you'd like to take part of this special offer, the doors are open until January 18th at 11:59 p.m. You can visit our website and you'll see the website there, or you can scan the QR code to join today. Your transformation starts with one decision. Let's make it happen. I think I missed one. Okay, so this is the QR code, and now we're gonna go into Q&A. Thank you so much. So we're gonna go into question and answers. I love to answer any questions you have. Remember, the special offer ends on January 18th, so don't wait to join. If you want the 30% discount, I'm going to put it in the chat. But let me see if there are any questions before I move on. Okay. So the question is, can you cancel at any time? Yes. When you join, you have 15 days to get your money back. 15 days, if you decide this isn't for you, I will refund you your money. After the 15 days, you can cancel anytime. If you're paying monthly, it will end at the end of your current month and you won't be charged beyond that month. If you're paid in full for the year and you've already passed the 15-day refund, then I will refund you proactively, meaning I'll take out whatever amount of time you've been with the program. Okay, anything else? I don't see any other questions. The cost is $27 per month. If you decide to go for the yearly, you pay you pay only for 10 months. You get 2 months for free, and you're able to get 30% on top of that with today's coupon that I will be putting on the comments in a minute. Who is this program for? So the program is geared again for women over 40. We're geared to help you start taking action, right? If you need information, if you need to learn about diabetes and everything about diabetes, we do have a program called the Blood Sugar Solution. It's an 8-week program and is all nuts and bolts that you'll need to know about diabetes, including functional medicine principles. Okay, looks like no more questions. I don't see anything. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing with you guys, and I am going to put in the comment box the coupon. So this is the coupon to use for 30% off. It's okay, there it is. That's the coupon that you'll use, DM Solution. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming to the presentation. If you have questions, if you have concerns, you can DM me. You can send me an email to support at rxhealthandwellness.com. The video is going to stay up only for a couple of days and then it will be taken down. If you want to rewatch it or send it to somebody who might be interested, please do so. Hope you have a good night and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.